Forest. We are gonna find somewhere to do something. Okay. I got a lot of forest pictures that I've come across in recent cleanouts, right? Like in recent piles of stuff, I have come across a lot of forest pages. So I'm going to trim this picture down. So we are going to forestize. There might be a second half to this picture somewhere. So I'm going to hold off on this one. But that doesn't mean that I have to hold off on this pretty watery sitch. Now, this is an altered book, which means I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever. You can do whatever you want in any book. But what I mean is you can get creative with the book itself. So, I'm going to have to think of some ideas to do with the pages. Like I'm thinking of folding some and having some dimensional stuff. Like I'm going to have to make sure I leave some areas where I have a chunk of pages so that we can really play with it. We can really play with the pages. This came out of a book and I really love the feeling of that paper. Can you feel it? Can you feel that? Just listen. Isn't that like a great papery feeling? Moosies. Moosies. We're gonna put the moosies on this page. I know in the last video that I did, I was like having a hard time deciding on moose placement, but I think this page is gonna be their home. And if not, well, they're not gonna have a choice because they're gonna be glued down. So just like when you're dead and you get buried, and that's it. That's where you spend eternity. These guys are gonna get buried right here. Oop, but this just fell onto the page, so it got sticky right there, stuck down. Come up to the top, moosies. Okay, I like the moosies. Those are very nice, but now I got like wet glue all over the place here. What else could I put here with the moosies? I don't want to cover, because, you know, I went through all the trouble to scrape my extra paint off on this page. I don't want to cover up all my extra paint scrapage. Think about a waterfall. The waterfall blends kind of nice with the paint scrapage. I might have to tuck that underneath the moosies. So get pictures wherever you can get them from. Don't go getting things just based on what I say. But if you have nature books or you find nature books in your travels, definitely scoop up some nature books for your foresting adventures, because they have got the paper quality in these books is just incredible. First of all, like the National Geographic books, those are usually pretty great and stuff like that. Definitely don't discount the nature books. We're going to leave the back few pages because I'm probably going to create an accordion at some point. Do not discount the nature pages, okay? Because there's a lot that you can do with those books and the scenery in them. Like this one here comes from a National Geographic magazine, but I love this picture. I love the color, and it's from an older magazine, so the photoshopping wasn't that easy. This is, I think, from an 80s magazine. I gotta trim it a little more because I kind of got wonky there. So yeah. I'm going to center that. I'm going to trim it a little bit from the bottom because I do want to keep some of that like silhouette shadow looking on the bottom, and then I'm going to trim a little bit off the top because I don't care as much about the top. I care about the whole thing. I just love this freaking picture. It really makes me happy. Really. So when you're gluing in the gutter, which you should not do, okay? Like that's like one of the altered book rules. But when you do it, like me, do this. Put it into the book in place. Not like that, though. Get the page in place. flop it over, add your glue, right? And plus now I'm lined up, I know where the edge is, so I don't have to worry about gluing off the edge. Glue your page. I know I should be using a glue stick, but I'm just glue sticked out. Glue sticks just aggravate me sometimes, and I'm just having an aggravated glue stick moment. Okay, and then you just kind of flop it over and it just stays there. Lots of people are driving really slow over here. Why are you driving slow by my house? I don't want you coming to say hi. I did just get new sneakers. I got a pair of OOFOS. Anybody have any OOFOS? Any OOFO people? It's supposed to be really good for my foot. I have plantar fasciitis. And it sucks. It sucks. So I have these like slides, which are hideous. I think slides are just, can we just take a moment to talk about how hideous slides are? They're right up there with the hideousness of Crocs. But the slides, they don't hurt my feet as bad as the Crocs and other shoes. So, you know, I did research and I was hemming and hawing, and OOFOS were like, it's spelled OOFOS, OOFOS. They're like, you know, $150, $160 sneakers. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I've never once in my life spent that much on a pair of shoes ever. Never. I'm like, no. So I just forgot about it. I'm like, whatever. Well, then, by the grace of our wireless devices watching everything we do and paying attention to us and listening to us, I swear they listen to us, okay? Our phones and our tablets and our shit. It listens to you. An ad came up for OOFOS. Now, this is months later. I have not looked at OOFOS in months, okay? I'm sure that I've deleted my cookies like 3 times since the last time I looked up OOFOS. Well, I look again, and they're on sale, Labor Day sale, for $50 for the sneakers. I'm like, you know what? I can do this. And I got one pair of white sneakers. They're like my fancy shoes. So I only wear black shoes any other time in my life. You know, sneakers and stuff. I do have a few pairs of shoes that are nice and brown, or, you know, I got a pair of shoes that have red on them like a fancy person. But for the most part, it's black or brown shoes and, you know, my one pair of white shoes. So I ordered the OOFOS in black. So I'm pretty pumped. They just came in. I tried it on without my sock on, and the cushion in it is like, I don't wear sneakers without socks. I wear socks with my sneakers all the time. The cushion inside of that shoe is amazing. So I'm really excited to see, because the reviews of the OOFOS are just insane, the way that people love these shoes. So I hope I can jump on the bandwagon and love them too. You know. Oh, this is pretty. Talks about Georgia's Spanish moss. We're going to Georgia with Girl Scouts next month. I'm excited. We're going to Savannah. I've never been to Georgia, so I'm pretty excited for that. Brian has been to Georgia, though, actually. It's not my place to tell his story, but in a nutshell, as a child, as a young boy, young teenager, he was abducted. Oh, look at the little bird. And he was under the impression that he was going on vacation with a family, and they just had no intentions of bringing him back. So yeah, that was a thing that happened to him. I don't have permission to tell that story from him, but that's basically it. Or wait, maybe I should say, instead of mentioning his name, I'll say someone I know. It was in the 70s, guys, okay? It was like a long time ago. So I'm sure that anybody who is affected by this is never going to watch my silly little video. But anyway, yeah. So he says that when he was in Savannah, the one thing he remembers the most is driving by the churches, because it was still very segregated in Georgia at the time. So he would not drive by, but he would walk by the black churches at night in the evening. Like, I guess they would go to the theater. So he would walk by, and he said the gospel music that they were singing was just incredible. So that's one thing that he remembers. This is really big. I have to think before I do anything with that. That's something he really remembers, is the gospel music from the churches that he would walk by. He said he's never heard singing like it before. He's never heard singing like it since. It was just beautiful, incredible. He said they would just stand there and just listen for minutes, you know, for a long time, just listening to the music. And I mean, I could see that, because I know even down here now, you know, the flea market that we go to in Stuart, Virginia, over here, there is a church that makes fish plates and fish sandwiches, and we like to buy from them because it's, you know, it supports the church. And the majority of the people in this church are black, and they have music blaring all day, and they sing to the music, and their voices are incredible. They harmonize together perfectly. And I mean, who knows? Maybe they know these songs. Maybe they are a choir that they sing these songs together on a regular basis, and they've got, you know, they've got it down pat. The tune, the harmonization, everything you have to do. It could be that way, but it could also just be that they're a bunch of people that are really good at singing, and they just sing together, and their voices just sound like that. Because I can totally imagine that too. But it's amazing. I love listening to them sing whenever we're, you know, like, because the line's usually pretty long, so you stand there and you wait in line. And when you're waiting, they're belting it out. I mean, they are singing full-fledged. So, yeah, I totally believe that about the gospel, because like I said, they have it here. They have, you know, we hear it in Virginia over here. Their voices are just magic, you know. But yeah, that's the one story that he told me about it that he said really stuck with him. It's the only thing he really remembers about the area. But the Girl Scout trip is a mother-daughter's trip. So I'm really excited. It's going to be, you know, me and the girls. We're all supposed to carpool with a church van on, you know, on a Thursday night. And the girls are all going to stay home, going to miss school on Friday. But they can get an excuse, because they can get an exemption because it's educational. So I don't know if I'm going to take the church bus, because they leave at like 6 p.m., which is late. We wouldn't get there until midnight. So I'm either going to drive with the girls myself, which I like, you know, I personally like to take my own car everywhere. I get weirded out when I don't have full control over if I need to leave a place or a situation. I don't know. I get weirded out. I've been that way my whole life, but 6 hours is a long drive, and I would be nervous because, you know, it would make me nervous because I would be on 95 the whole time. But I might just do it, you know, who the hell knows. Sorry, people came in, so I glued these down. But I just realized I have these like mossy, foresty pictures. I don't know what to do about the glare. I did have somebody leave a comment on one of my older videos about the glare. I can't control the magazine images, and I need the light. And my lights in here are seriously awesome. So if anybody has a glare hack, I am all ears. This is the tin that was just in my trash can. I've saved a whole bunch of these tins, flour, that I got from the auction. So when my building is done, I can use them to store things. What, I don't know, but I'll store things in them. You know, maybe rubber bands and paper clips and whatever. Could store my clamps in that big one. I got my clampies. Oh, speaking of clamps, I have to repair my Halloween journals. Definitely coming apart at the bindings. All right, we're going to find a place for these, but first I want to see if I can find something small for that spot, but I don't think I'm going to have anything right now, so we're going to just say forget about it. See, look, I talked myself right in and right out of that within one breath. Okay, I don't know which way this goes. Let's see. Look at beautiful pictures on all pages. These come from National Geographic's. We're gonna center these puppies. Let's see. Yeah, see, that must go here. No, that doesn't line up. Does this line up? This lines up. Okay, so we're gonna glue the desert. This weather has been so nice here. It's just been beautiful. I mean, in the 70s and sunny every day, you know. We've had a little bit of rain, like we had a little bit of thunderstorms twice last week, I think. But that was the first time we had rain in like 21 days or some random, you know, long period of time. So I was totally okay with that, you know, so what? A little bit of rain. But I'm loving it. It has been so nice. It has been so nice. So nice. This is something I clearly cut off of something else, but I'm going to glue it there. We're taking the motor out of the Model T today. So it's going to be a job. We got the car out of the trailer yesterday. I chickened out to be the one to sit in the car and just steer and drive it down. While they were pulling me down with a winch, I chickened out. So luckily a friend of ours was here and she got up and did it, which was, oh, little moosies down there. That's perfect, right? Little moosies. Can you see? Can you see the little moosies? Yes. So luckily she was here and she did it. But, you know, after seeing it, I felt a little easier about it. So I'm going to be the one that's going to have to be in it when we drag it back up into the trailer. So that's going to be exciting. And, you know, it's going to come in and out of the trailer like 50 times in the next couple of months. So yeah. All right. That's big. This is big. Swamp water. Sweet swamp water. Let's cut that out. Put it in here. This looks swampy, right? Unless... No, I don't really like it for this. This whole thing is weird. Just stop. Just stop. This has some bird and tree information on it that I like for the trees. Trees. Love me some trees. See, we got some smalls here. Smalls. These go together. This can go anywhere, though. This can go here. Right? Yeah. Totes my goats. So tonight Lillian will get to pick out her own rolling backpack to take to school to save her little back and shoulders. The girls had their physicals yesterday. Both of them are happy and healthy. They're both growing at their own rates, but they are growing, so nobody's really worried. They're short. They're going to be little people. Brian and I are not giants, so genetics plays a huge part in your size, if you didn't know. We're going to cut this out. So they are destined to be short. However, Vera is trending to be taller than her sister. So Vera might be a little more average by the time it's all said and done. You know, she is short, but she's not as tiny. Like, you know, Lillian is tiny all through the years. She looked really tiny compared to everybody else in her class by a lot. Vera doesn't look that much smaller. She's smaller, but she's like me. I was the shortest kid in my class, but I wasn't, you know, I was the shortest kid in my class by, you know, an inch or two. Lillian was the shortest kid in her class by, like, you know, a foot. She's tiny. But she's growing, and she's healthy, and she's growing, you know, the amount. She's trending consistently. We're going to cut that little forest out. Big tree. Big tree with a face. I love that. Do you see the face carved into that? Trees, 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 trees. Love trees, love trees. Okay. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to go, or how we're going to do Janet's tree, because that's going to have to be, is this the other page to that page that I might have lost now? Is this it? Let's see. Because, yes, it is. See, so this is a thing. But I cut it so it's kind of wonky doobus, right? Because it definitely, yes, all right, those go together. Oh, but I don't want them here. I want them here. And then I got some large pieces from that wood scrapbook paper, which if you buy one of my nature packs, my nature collage packs, you get some of the wood paper. I don't know if it's that or if it's like the wood grain from a sawmill or something, but you get some form of wood. I know I mentioned it before, but I bought that paper pad a long time ago. And when I got it, I didn't realize just how much wood was in it. It is full of wood. It is a book full of all different kinds of wood. Painted, scratched, like, you know, peeling, painty, rustic looking wood, trees, sticks, butts, tree butts. That's part of that paper pad. So yeah, it is full of wood. Wood is good. We're gonna do this, I think. We're gonna put this here. But yeah, I mean, and it was a big pad, so I bought that a long time ago. I am still working through it. Okay, I have not worked through the whole pad yet, so I am still living with the wood. I think I'm gonna put this one here. A little more contrasting, sticks out a little more. I'm gonna be needing some border things here soonly. You know, to go over here, right? Cover this, go over here. I mean, I could just paint or doodle or something. We could just go that route, you know. This is high country. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, sure. Why not put that there? You still get the gist out of the majority of what's on these pictures. And like I've said before, whenever I look back at my books, I never once say, oh man, I wish I didn't cover up that whole picture. I usually just look at it and say, man, that looks really good. I'm really inspired to do something like that again. Okay. I have to keep reminding myself, like, Malia, you're never going to care about what the rest of this tree trunk on this tree looks like. You're not going to care. So, you have to give yourself the freedom to explore, to explore your art, to explore your style, your tactics, the things you enjoy. You have to give yourself the freedom. Stop with the rules. You know, I'm guilty of it too. I have so many rules for myself. There are certain things I like a certain way. Like whenever I make a junk journal, I like all my papers in the right orientation, which is why the paper packs that I sell that have things in it for junk journal pages, I try and include them as folios as much as I can, that you could use as, so you have the option to either use it as a journal page or cut it up and use it in other ways. But I like the orientation to be proper, so that's what I try and accomplish when I'm putting together packs. That's me. That's a rule that I've created simply because it is what I like to look at when I look through a junk journal. But when it comes to gluing and drawing and arting and painting, I've got to throw out my rules. Because I limit myself so much on things because I'm like, well, I can't do that. Why can't I? Why can't I do that? Like the gutter. I glue in the gutter all the time. Other people, that's a rule for many people, okay? The gutter, oh, you know, you're going to break the spine. Listen, I've never broken a spine on a book that spine wasn't already, you know, in a delicate state, okay? I really like this whole thing. So we're going to cut some of this gross swampiness out. And we're going to put this here. I shouldn't have cut the swampiness that short, but that's okay. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. So just remember, okay, please. Just remember that when you say to yourself, in the middle of your project, I can't do this, ask yourself why before you stop yourself from doing the thing, okay? Ask yourself why. Too much glue, of course. Of course. Let's move it over a little bit just to use up some of that glue. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So that's my TED Talk for today. I'm sorry, you guys come here. You guys do not come here to get lectured. And here I am. I just lecture. This has houses in it. And they're not forest houses. They're like city houses. We cannot have a city here in the forest. Okay. Okay, the biggest city we're going to have is this guy's, you know, home. Yeah, like that. Gives you like the anatomy of a tree. Like, no wonder why my viewership is down. I lecture you guys all the time about art. You're probably like, Malia, we're so sick of listening to you bitch at us about how we should and shouldn't do things. Listen, okay, I am just trying to help you free yourself from your own creative nightmare that lives within you. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do. I am not trying to change the way you do things. I am telling you not to change the way you want to do things. Okay? Because, I mean, I'm totally guilty of it too. I stop myself and I'm like, why? Why aren't you doing that? Simply because you think you can't do that? Simply because you have created some weird rule in your head as to what you can and cannot do with this whatever? I'm doing the same thing with myself in sewing, because I have so many things I want to sew, but I feel like there's so many rules that I don't know about sewing. So I don't do it. I stop myself. But then I think to myself, you got to just start. You got to just start sewing. You got to just start doing it. To hell with the rules. You know how to thread your machine. You know how to put two pieces of fabric together. You know how to run a stitch through the fabric without getting your fingers. Those are the only things that really matter when you're sewing. If you can accomplish those things, you might as well just call yourself a seamstress. Okay. I really like this like corner thing here. Again, clearly something that I cut something else out of. But I was like, oh, I kind of need this for something. So we're going to kind of find a place for it. Oh, there's Mr. Mountain Man. We're going to have to create some critters for this. Like Beth did in her forest journal that I watched her stream the other night. Like this, I can do this with it here, right? Like so, like so, like so, so, like so. And then what can I put here? Maybe this. No. Maybe this. No, too much like that. It is this picture but smaller. This? No. Takes up too much room. I don't really like that guy though. All right, we're not gonna put that one there. Find a place. Maybe here. We'll do it here. And then we'll find something to, you know, cover it up with. This is just a glue day. I'm not, you know, I'm not into the arting all that much right now. Just in a glue mood. I do have some really cool art things that I've got planned, though, that I want to work on. I'll just give you a hint. It involves sardine cans. Love making things, little things in sardine cans. Love it. Makes me so happy. I'm going to just stick that there. Makes me so happy. And I found some things on, I don't know, Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, I think. There's been a few different places where they've made some really cool things in the sardine cans. And I'm like, yep. I created a little Christmas scene in one a long time ago. I think I made a video of it. Even though I think I remember it being really hard to make a video of it. But I did it, you know. I did it. So, yeah. I want to make some little things in sardine cans. You know, I have a whole folder that I built myself. Full of just flower and plant stuff. I should just go through it and pull out the flowers and plants that I want. You know, for my ideal forest situation. The plants I would want in my forest that does not include poison ivy or poison oak or any of the other poisons. Unless it's something that I want to use to poison someone. No, I'm just kidding. Calm down. Calm down, algorithms. Just kidding. What can I put on this side? Oh, I don't want to put anything on this side. I might create an accordion over here. Like this though, huh? Wish I had more words. Wish I had more words. We'll have to do some wording. How long have I been on this sucker? 33 minutes? I think we'll call it there. You want to do a quick little flip through and see where we're at? Here is my totally awesome cover. Nothing. Oh, look, I wonder when I did this. I have a lot of white space to cover. Lots of things. We're going to do lots and lots of things. Lots of things. Seeing the forest for the trees. Yes. Yes. Foresting, treeing. I love autumn. That is one thing that I do miss, is the magic of walking through the woods in New England in the autumn and in the winter. And in the autumn, I mean like the peak maple season. The peak maple leaf season. Okay, it is incredible. You can drive around and you can look at the beautiful leaves. We used to call them the leaf peepers. And that it's great. You can drive around and see some amazing things. But until you walk through it in the forest, in the woods, you have no idea. It's really incredible. And the same goes for the snow. And not the snow like a week after it snows. We're talking hours after the storm ends and there's a foot of snow on the ground. And you go out into the woods and everything is covered in snow. And it's like a magical scene out of Bambi. And you just stand there and the silence is so silent. I do miss that. But I do have to say, here it's pretty... The silence is pretty silent. Like in the wintertime when all the crickets and the peepers are gone. In the wintertime, you stand outside at night. It is dead silent. It's so quiet that one time I got freaked out when I was standing out on my porch because I heard the horse across the street peeing. That's how quiet it was. This horse that was like 7 or 8, 10 acres away from me was peeing, and it sounded like it was happening, you know, in my front yard. So it does get quiet. And so when it snows here, it is a whole nother world of silence. Sorry, we're going to unglue pages while we flip through too. So you're just going to have to listen to me flap my face. Flapping, flapping, flapping. We might make a video where we might make some people. I might make a video where I make some people. So stay tuned for that. You might see it. Maybe I'll put it out before this one comes out. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But I do know one thing. I got to repair my Halloween journal before I make another video in that. Because that's just not gonna fly. It's not gonna make it. The second half of the book isn't gonna make it anyway. That's what really needs the love. So we've put a lot in here so far. We've done some things. We've forested it up. I am very excited. Tomorrow, Brian has a doctor's appointment, and me and the girls are going to be able to hang out in the city. I'm very excited to go have breakfast in the city. Maybe I'll go to Hobby Lobby, or what else is out there? There's tons of stuff out there. I used to go to Joann's. It was right near where the doctor's office is, but they closed. And it's funny because that was a new Joann's, like remodeled in the last 5 years. So it was really fancy in there, you know? And then, I don't know, what the hell are they going to do with that space? What are they going to do? Glue. I've got glue everywhere. Yeah, I think this is it. And so I'm not going to bore you with watching me unstick all the pages in the back, but it doesn't look like any of them are really stuck anyway. So yeah, that is as far as we have gotten so far. I haven't done anything to the back cover yet. I might put a picture back there, maybe. Maybe we'll stick like this back here. I don't know. Maybe we'll put, will the big picture fit back here? Not really, huh? But it would fit better here. We're going to put the big picture. We're going to stick the big picture down back here because I want to keep that picture without having to sacrifice a ton of edges of it. So we're going to stick it on here and then trim the edges off from here because it's much less trimming than if I put it on a page. Okay. So I'm going to kind of balance it out so that it's, you know, move it over a little bit because I do want some of this waterfall. So it's going to be tough because I got to trim it on all 4 sides. But that's for another day because it's got to dry really good. This thing has to dry. I want it to dry. Maybe I'll get like the sandpaper out. See, look, I already have a page. I have an edge sticking out there. I don't have to trim that one. Alrighty, guys. We're getting there. We're getting foresty. We're not getting there. We're going to be working in this puppy for a long time. Like at least a week and a half. I love you all. Ta-ta for now.